Welcome to my final episode of this 10-part series showing you exactly how to grow your personal brand on LinkedIn to generate more leads and sales for your business. I'm really excited to take you through this next episode as I'm going to show you from a high level exactly what you need to do in order to grow your brand on LinkedIn so you can turn a stranger on the internet into a paying client. But I'm also going to take you through what you should be doing every day in order to move the needle forward with your brand so things compound. Because if you can stay consistent, you are going to notice huge results. What I want to go through first though is this high level roadmap. So the first thing that we need to do before we even think about growing your personal brand on LinkedIn is we need to identify who is an ideal client for you and what are their pain points and their problems. Once we're really clear on that, then we need to identify, well, what is the value that you have to offer them that will help them overcome their problems, and what is your point of difference as well. I have coached hundreds of people across 40 different industries, and a lot of those industries are saturated, right? I work with mortgage brokers, there's 19,000 of them in Australia. I work with buyer's agents, financial planners, leadership coaches, such a variety of industries. So it's really important that you work out your zone of genius, the value you have to offer, and what separates you from the rest. Once you're really clear on that, then from there, what we can do is optimize your LinkedIn profile to turn it into a sales page that sells for you while you sleep. I actually didn't have a website when I started my business. I only got a website about 6 weeks ago. I made my first $500,000 in revenue purely just through the back of my LinkedIn profile and funneling my leads through there. And the reason I was able to generate $500,000 off the back of my profile is because it was set up really well. So we need to make sure that you've got the profile optimized. And if you missed some of my previous episodes, you can find a link in the description below to a free LinkedIn profile guide training where I step you through exactly what you need to do in order to set your profile up well. So if a stranger lands on it, they know what it is you do, how you help them, and then how to get in touch with you as well. So get that sorted first. That is the most important thing. Once you've done that, if you haven't already, what I would recommend is you get LinkedIn Premium. The reason I say this is because there's a couple of really important features with Premium that's going to help you with your lead generation. The first one is it allows you to send 30 connection requests a day, which is more than when you're on the free version. And it also allows you to see who's viewing your profile, which is really helpful when it comes to prospecting because, for instance, if I see somebody has viewed my profile that I think is an ideal client, I can then shoot them a message and we can have a conversation and go from there. So those are two really important things when it comes to prospecting as to why I would make the investment into getting Premium. So get your profile optimized, get your LinkedIn Premium. If you want Sales Navigator, absolutely that is a great add-on to have as well. But if you're looking for a bit more budget friendly, I would go with LinkedIn Premium to begin with. Once you've done that, I would then get into the rhythm of connecting with people, messaging people, and commenting on other people's posts. Particularly if you're brand new to the platform and you're not used to posting your own content, start with those three things first to build up your confidence and to get the reps in. Now, I recommend spending half an hour a day doing that, but you want to do those first few things. And then once you've gotten into a really good rhythm with that, the next step then from there is to create content. And you want to be posting 3 different styles of content. So you want to create your personal storytelling content, you want to create your authority-driven content, and then you want to create your social proof content. And again, you might start off with doing 1 to 3 posts a week to begin with, and then building up from there. Once you've got your content cranking, what you will find is over time, you should be generating inbound leads. So people will see your content, they'll get to learn more about you, they'll know you, they'll like you, or they'll trust you, and then they will reach out. This doesn't happen overnight for everyone. And I want to be really transparent with you around this because often people get disheartened with LinkedIn. They put a post out, maybe they're posting for a week or a couple weeks and they're getting no traction, and then they throw in the towel. Please give it some more time. And there's a good chance that if you're brand new to content creating, your LinkedIn content's going to suck. when you first start. It really is. My content sucked, absolutely no doubt, when I first started posting. So what I want to say to you is embrace the suck. Know that it's going to be bad when you first start, but if you stay consistent and you get better at your writing, at this stage of the process, you should be putting all your time and energy into learning how to be a really good copywriter. And you do that not necessarily by posting 7 times a week or 7 days a week. You do that by writing 7 days a week. And what I mean by that is the only way to be a good copywriter or to get better at your content is to actually practice. And so what I mean by that is every day I encourage you to write 1 post, but you may not actually post that piece of content because it might not be that great, and that's cool. But I want you to get into the habit of creating content in a judgment-free way where you just allow what comes to your mind to flow. And then let's say, for instance, you write 5 days a week, Monday to Friday, but maybe only 3 of those posts you felt were really good ones. Upload those. If you can get into that habit, you are going to be an absolute gun copywriter in no time. And let me tell you, sounds dramatic, but I truly believe that if you can learn the art of copywriting, you can become a millionaire. Your words sell, and if you can learn how to effectively write well to capture people's attention and to convert strangers on the internet into paying clients, you are going to do very, very well financially for yourself. So learn what you can about copywriting. And if you aren't already, join my mailing list below, because each week I share insights around LinkedIn and copywriting and content to help people like you win more on the platform. So check that link out below. Now, once your content is out there, it's doing its thing, it's nurturing your audience, the next step from here is to actually do some strategic outreach. Now, I'm not talking about messaging people and pitch slapping them. That's so not the vibe. What you need to be doing is looking at ways that you can build relationships with people even if they are cold. I message a lot of people cold that have never met me before, but I do it in different ways that it comes across warm. So for example, something that you could do is, now that you've got LinkedIn Premium, you'll be able to see who is viewing your profile. So I might send somebody a message and say, hey, hey Bob, saw you checked out my profile, how are things going at such and such, and start a conversation that way. We really do overthink messaging people on LinkedIn, I have to say. So pretend that that person is standing in front of you in real life and don't overthink it. Other ways that you can interact with people is by sending them something of value. In one of my previous episodes, I dove deep into how you can create a lead magnet or a content of value, and that is a really great way to also open up a conversation with somebody. So for instance, I might be looking at somebody's profile and then I've noticed that they're missing gaps on their profile that would be really helpful for them to have filled out. So I'll send them a message and say, hey Bob, noticed your profile was a little bit blank in these areas. Would it be okay with you if I sent you through a free training on how to update your profile? I'm not selling, I'm not pitching to them, I'm purely offering them value. And then I send them the video or the lead magnet or the guide or whatever it is. I send that through to them and then I wish them a great day, and I leave it at that. So that's a really powerful way for you to build a relationship with somebody that you've never met before, where they're getting value from you and they're not feeling like they've been hardcore sold to. So that's the next step, is having actual conversations with people. The money is made in the DMs. Yes, content generates inbound leads, but if you really want to dial it up a notch and you want to generate more, the magic happens by actually just having a conversation with another human. So don't be afraid to reach out to people. From there, what will happen is you're going to start booking out meetings, okay? So it's really important that when you're conversing with people in the inbox, that you're getting a good understanding of what they do and what their problems are, and to make sure that they're an actual fit to work with you, because what you don't want to happen is you start booking your calendar with a bunch of people that aren't a good fit. What you want to be doing when you're having conversations with people is you want to get a really good understanding of where they're at in their business or their career, get an understanding of what their problems are, to figure out if you can actually help them out in the first place. If you're feeling icky or uncomfortable about messaging people, the way I overcome that ickiness is to take your sales hat off. So when you go to message somebody, particularly if it's cold, I want you to come at it from purely a place of curiosity. You just want to get to know this person to see if you can even help them in the first place, right? So that removes a lot of the awkwardness for me personally, because I'm just there to get to meet and learn more about my network. And then after asking a series of questions and having a connection with somebody, I'll then be able to tell or judge if I should be getting them onto a booked call or whether I should be sending them a link to join one of my programs. So take that into consideration when you do reach out to people, because what's going to happen now is now you've got your content pumping, your profile's optimized, you're having conversations, you're going to start booking your calendar out with meetings. And it's really important that you've got quality leads that you're catching up with, because you're going to pretty quickly realize that your calendar is going to book out because the process is working, you're filling up your pipeline. That is the strategy from A to Z of how you can get a stranger on the internet to become a paying client. Ironically, I was saying to a girlfriend the other day that a good 80% of my clients before they joined my academy had never once engaged in my content. So they have come cold, never liked posts, never commented, but they have been silently watching me. Sometimes some of them have been watching me for years, and then they've just seen that one post that really lands with them, or they've seen it at the right time and they've come across a problem that they know I can solve, and they reach out to me. So that's why messaging people is also really important, because you just never know what prospects or leads are sitting in your inbox that you have no idea about. That's the high level game plan. Now I want to talk about what you should be doing each day in order to build momentum and stay sustainable with growing your personal brand, because I'll be very honest with you, growing a personal brand is 90% consistency. More than anything, it is a game of consistency. I have been growing my brand on LinkedIn for over 5 years now and have been consistently posting online. And it's because I have this daily structure that I follow, and I wanted to share it with you. So the first thing that I would do is I would time block in your calendar and actually put LinkedIn time in there. You need to be really intentional about how you show up on the platform. Often people tell me that they don't have time to grow a brand, but then I ask them to pull out their phone and have a look at how much time they're spending on TikTok, how much time they're spending on Facebook, Instagram, how much time are they actually spending on LinkedIn itself, but they're not doing anything on there except for liking and lurking, right? So it's about using your time more effectively on the platform. So what I would say to you is be intentional about it. You do have, I promise you, you do have the time, you're just not using it effectively. So time block LinkedIn power hours into your week. And then when you get on there, this is what I would spend that 30 to 60 minutes a day doing on the platform. The first thing I do is I actually go to my profile and I look at my previous posts and I reply to any comments that I've missed. So I make sure I reply to those first. Then from there, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my profile views. I get thousands of profile views every month, so there's lots of new people coming into my world. So I will go along that list and then I will connect with everybody who's viewed my profile that I'm not already connected with. From here, then what I do is I go and comment on content. So I will comment on 5 to 10 posts on LinkedIn. And then from here, what I'm going to do is post my own piece of content and pop that out there. Now, while that's all happening, I will go and message some people as well. And you might like to break up your LinkedIn power hour. You might do half an hour in the morning and then half an hour at night to give you that time later in the evening to reply back to any messages you've missed. But as a real, I guess, simple rule of thumb, I would go 10 connection requests a day minimum. And again, right, this is a game of what you put in is what you get out. So if you're sitting there, you've just started a brand new business, you know your ideal client is hanging out on LinkedIn, I would throw everything into it. So I would say to you, okay, we're going to really dial this up quickly. So if that's the case, you're going to send 30 connection requests a day. You're going to start 10 to 15 conversations a day. You're going to post your content and then you're going to comment on 10 posts. So focus on those key things and you're going to notice very quickly that your brand is going to scale rapidly. I have had clients start with me with 0 followers. I've had clients start with 200, 300, 700. Ironically, and to my surprise years ago, My clients with the smaller followings actually perform the best. They generate the most leads from the platform. So don't feel like you need to have this huge following. The reason that they perform so well, I believe, is because they're actually willing to share and be vulnerable around the fact that they're just starting out. People love supporting underdogs. That's one of the reasons why my brand blew up years ago, was because I was this young grasshopper on LinkedIn. I started posting on the platform when I was 21 years old. People love to see that. They just wanted to support me, and those people are still supporting me 5 years later and sending me business and sending me clients. So really own, particularly if you're in the early days, that you are actually starting out, but make sure that you implement those key things every day in order to grow your brand, and I promise you're going to have a pipeline of clients. If you are interested and you have loved this series and you want more support, you need to check out my 90-day Dare to Be Known program. I have designed this program to help people like you to grow your personal brand on LinkedIn and generate leads off the back of it. You're going to gain access to over 30 hours of training and resources, from anything from confidence, mindset, how to create content that converts into paying clients, how to message people and have conversations with people on LinkedIn, as well as sales foundations to help you actually convert those deals as well. And I also run weekly group coaching calls for you to jump on and get live feedback from me. You're not going to be dealing with a bunch of randoms. You're going to be dealing with me directly. And I like to think, if you're on to episode 10, that you vibe in my coaching style. And I will give you personalized feedback on what it is that you need to do with your LinkedIn in order to move the needle forward and get fast results. Enroll into that program using the link below. I hope you have enjoyed this 10-part series. I have really loved taking you through and sharing so much value and knowledge. But guys, this is just the tip of the iceberg. There's so much more that I can be showing you to help you fast track. I don't want you to feel like things are hopeless on LinkedIn. Maybe you have already been given it a crack and you're about to throw in the towel. Maybe you haven't even started on LinkedIn because you're absolutely terrified. But wherever you're at in your LinkedIn journey, just know that I'm here to support you to ensure that you grow rapidly and you generate leads and sales off the back of your personal brand. So thank you so much for being with me for this series, and stay tuned for the next one.